Good. Doing
Um,
good.
Hey, I know you guys obviously are off to a great start, but this is going to be your first true road series. I know you played in Arlington. Those were neutral site games. How do you feel about going on the road for the first time?
I think our guys are excited. I'm fine. I like playing on the road. I think it kind of bonds the team a little bit. The routine's pretty, it's just easy. Not as many outside distractions, honestly. We work out on Wednesday evening and we feed them, get up and feed them again and go over things during the day. And then you go to the field and play. And same thing on Friday. And then obviously with Friday being a Saturday, a day game, it's a quick turnaround. And I don't know, it's just a lot of thinking about baseball for 70 hours or whatever it is. But I'm looking forward to it. I really feel like the team's looking forward to it. And, no matter how it goes, I think it'll be, if it goes great, great. If it doesn't go good, I don't think it's because we're on the road as much as that we just didn't play good or Auburn played really good. So looking forward to it.
Well, Auburn got roughed up pretty good at Vandy, but a lot of teams are probably gonna lose at Vanderbilt. Kind of what's your take on Auburn after getting to study up on them a little bit and what they did in their opening SEC series?
Yeah. A very offensive team. They hit home runs. They can score. Their lineup's deep. Like you said, it's hard to judge anything really this early in SEC play. I mean, you have a bad weekend, a bad day or two, and your numbers don't look right, and they'll even up. But Vanderbilt is tough at home, playing on that turf, no foul territory. It's a totally different environment. Um, it's just a different game. Auburn's really good at home. You look at their home record. They've done a nice job over there with their, you know, I guess accommodations for fans, and now they go around right field, and they built another section almost in center field, right center, and it can be loud there now, and they get after you pretty good. So we're going to have to pitch and field again, so we don't give up big innings because those guys can score.
Thanks.
Hutch, go ahead.
Hey, Dave, I assume you're sticking with the same starting rotation.
Yeah, unless something happens between now and tomorrow when I think I have to announce it. I'm not even sure since we play Thursday, but yeah, we won't change anything, and unless after some bullpens today, some guys don't feel right, but I don't anticipate that.
Are there any, with this being a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, are there any limitations for those guys?
No, not if they one less day. The weather looks good Thursday. Friday doesn't look very good. Saturday looks a little better. Just unless we, ran into super cold weather or something. But that's one reason we let the guys go a little bit longer this weekend, pitch count wise, just continually building it up. So, they can go 90 to 100 if they need to, and just because it's one day shorter, we don't feel like it's going to be an issue unless they tell us they're tired or they're not feeling right.
I wanted to ask you about one of your bullpen arms, Cooper Dosset. I mean, this is a guy that was pretty highly regarded out of high school, didn't pitch a whole lot. And this era, you think maybe a guy like that might enter the transfer portal, but he stuck it out. Just kind of what's that say about him, and what have you thought about his growth from last year to this year?
Well, he's gotten a lot better, obviously. And, when we did pitch him last year in 23, we were seeing a little bit of what we saw now in our practices and scrimmages. But when we put him in the game last year, it didn't go real well. And then opportunity didn't happen after that. We discussed that with him and felt bad that he didn't pitch a little bit more. But at the same time, some guys were pitching well, and it gave him a chance to work out, develop. He had arm injuries in high school. He didn't pitch a whole lot because his arm bothered him. He didn't pitch the fall of his freshman year either because of his arm. So he was just behind. And then now his stuff's good. And you look at what he's done so far. I don't know if he's walked anybody. I think he's pitched, struck out 7 or whatever he's done. And it's been good. That's why we had him on the roster. And there were some guys left off the 27-man last year that he got in front of. And we put him in the game. It's an SEC game, and yeah, we were ahead, but we put him in ahead of some other guys who want to see him pitch, and he backed it up pretty good. I don't know how many strikeouts he has. He got 3 outs on 7 pitches the other day, which is about as good as it can get. So, what does it say about him? It says he wanted to be here, and he's a tough kid. We're glad he's here.
Dudley.
You obviously get great starting pitching. Did you get enough innings out of the other guys last weekend, or was it a either or thing there?
Well, honestly, there were some guys that we kind of wanted to rest a little bit, and even Gackle. We almost didn't pitch him an inning, but we thought, well, let's throw him 1 inning, and if we needed him to win a game, where we're going to use him, but. Obviously, that game was in hand. The Saturday game, it was in hand as well, obviously, but it was good to only throw in 1 inning. So really, in our opinion, except for maybe like Parker Coyle or, someone like that needed to get out there and pitch a little bit, because he's been working on a couple new things, and we would have liked to have seen him pitch, but I feel good about the rest. And guys are throwing bullpens yesterday, today, and getting ready for the weekend. They're light bullpens. I think it was a good time to let guys just maybe get ready for an offensive Auburn on the road in front of their crowd. Probably going to need more guys, and hopefully we'll be strong.
Appreciate it.
Tom.
Yeah, a couple of times you've mentioned how offensive Auburn is. What is it specifically? What are they good at, and who are their guys?
Well, I can't go over the list of all their guys, but I'm going to tell you that the middle of their order, they swing at strikes. They make you throw it over the plate. They use the whole field, and some teams are a little pull happy. You can get them out with off-speed stuff late in the count. Auburn makes some really good adjustments. They stay through the middle of the field. They go the other way, and the numbers back it up. And they've been behind in a lot of games this year, where they've come back and scored 5, 6, 7, 8 runs in the last few innings to win. So even if you get a lead on them, you just feel like no lead is safe. You've really got to bear down, throw it over the plate, and make them earn it, and that's what we've done a good job of, is throwing strikes. I think this is going to be a really good series. We're going to have to play well.
Okay. Hey, looking at your weekend starters and areas of improvement, are the hit by pitches by Tigert and maybe the pitch count for Molina just something you just live with, or can they be significantly better there?
Yeah, you think about Tiger hitting people. It's been with breaking balls, curveballs, sliders. Yeah, it's still early. Molina, well, he had a couple of good innings, but he had a couple innings where he had to throw 20+ pitches. And, if they're hitting you and things happen, you understand that if he could just, get that pitch count down a little bit, yeah, it's concerning. But it's not like it's been a major problem as far as winning and losing, because he's found a way to give us usually 4 to 5 innings. But there's 7 in there. There's 7 innings in there if he'll just throw, wasting pitches. Borderline strikes, those are good. You throw an elevated fastball with an 0-2 count, trying to get him to chase it. That's a great pitch. The pitches that aren't good are the ones that are just way off the plate or way up right out of the hand. There's no chance they're going to swing at it, because Molina has a knack for getting them to swing at that elevated pitch, because out of hand it looks pretty good, but it stays up. But you can't throw it too high. And but he's been really good. It's been fun watching those guys pitch. And again, we've only played 4 weeks. We got a lot more to go. And as time goes on, weather warms up, these guys are going to heat up as well, and so will their control, I feel like.
Yeah. My last thing is, you started to say something on Hagen on Friday about the fans. Do the fans really know what they're seeing? And then you gave your background on how long you've been. So yeah. What is it specifically maybe that Hagen has really honed in on that now he's better, his pitch counts are lower? Why is he so better right now?
Well, it's a lot of things. It's like I said, he's just 20 years old, and he'll be 20 years old when the season's over. Even if we play in the last game of the season, he's still going to be 20 years old. He's young, and but he's gotten physically stronger. I think what he can really do is he can really repeat his delivery. He stays balanced. You know, he doesn't get out of whack much, and that's why there's not those bad misses. And when he does miss, they're pretty good pitches. And you know, some are just right there, ball off, and that's what you want. Just the development with Coach Hobbs and growing up, you know, practice. I mean, everything combined is just making him the guy we thought he could be, and even more, honestly. I mean, who could project that? You know, how good he is right now. When he was, you know, when he walked in the door here, we knew he had a really good arm. We knew he was a great kid and he wanted to get better. But probably to me, though, ever since the season ended last year, and you know, it didn't go good his last outing. And that guy has worked incredibly hard. And this is a guy that's almost unanimous pick for captain, and he doesn't talk a whole lot. And they picked him because they just see that guy working every day. And, you know, probably as a young pitcher, you're probably going, how am I going to keep up with this guy? And they respect him a lot. And, you know, then you watch him on the field, and, you know, it's been incredible. And he's not worried about all the other stuff. He's not worried about the draft. He's not worried about where he's going to go and all that stuff. He's just playing. He's just pitching. He's playing for the team, and he knows it's going to be fine. And that's one thing that we as coaches really appreciated about him is just the way he is off the field and as a person, and the way he leads.
Yeah. And without those first 3 batters of the season, you know, the wind-blown home run after the other 2, I mean, his ERA is unreal without those 3.
Yeah, and he just comes at you, man. He just comes at you. And as a hitter, I mean, it's just like every time, first pitch of every game, the hitter's swinging, and they're trying to hit the first pitch as hard and as far as they can, because they know they're going to get about 97 right over the plate. And it's been amazing because they know he's just coming at them.
Thanks.
Daniel?
Hey, Coach. This one's a little bit different. There was a piece in The Athletic about a week ago about how the evolving of pitching over time, and people are kind of prioritizing stuff over pitchability now. Have you seen that trickle down to the college level at all? Like, are kids chasing stuff more than they used to be, and kind of how that's evolved over time?
Well, I think maybe on the professional ranks, you know, they're looking for guys with, I mean, stuff is good. They're talking about velocity. You know, velocity is great, but I got a couple guys on the team that throw in the upper 90s. They haven't been on the mound yet, when they've been injured a little bit. But you got to be able to pitch. And you know, you think about a guy like, you know, Colin Fisher's going to pitch 88 to 92, and except for the other day, he's been getting everybody out. And Tiger's not trying to blow people away. He's pitching at 90, 92, and he can throw 94, 95 if you just say, hey, go do it. But it's pitchability. It's mixing and keeping guys off balance. You think about Missouri's lefty the other day, topped out at 90, 91, but he got us out for 5 innings. And, you know, maybe nationally that's what a lot of people are looking for. But, you know, when we're out recruiting, we're looking for guys that can pitch. Example, if we see a right-handed pitcher that's a junior in high school and he's throwing 88 miles an hour, you know, that's okay, but that's not what everybody's looking for. But if he has a really good breaking ball, or he can spin the baseball, we're gonna recruit that kid, because we know that he's going to throw 91, 92 one day, and that might be where he lives, but he's got that secondary pitch. So I don't buy all of that. And, you know, I think that, you know, maybe at a different level, they're looking for that. And velocity is great because you got to make decisions quicker as a hitter, but well, you got to back it up with some command and location, because kids don't, once they get used to hitting 96, 97, if you don't have something else, they're going to hit it, and they're going to hit it hard.
I guess for the kids that can throw 96 and 97, have the coaches gotten better at, I guess, taking care of the arms and, you know, keeping the arms healthy and less volatile?
Well, I mean, that's a tough question. You know, I feel like it's probably program. You know, a lot of times the problem is, you know, you got the high school and the summer league, and, you know, the summer league pitcher's throwing once a weekend. He's not around the team. He shows up, he pitches, he goes home, drives back 500 miles or whatever they do, and they just try to blow and go. And that's where a lot of guys are getting hurt. Then you got these end of July and August showcases that the pro people put on. That's where a ton of kids get hurt. And, you know, they're not in great shape. Here, we monitor everything they do. Almost every pitch that they throw, we keep an eye on it. We know how many pitches they throw in every bullpen, how hard they threw them, how they were spinning. I mean, it's program to program. I feel like we do a good job of monitoring it. But you know, sometimes we get some of these kids and they're already hurt. And we have a couple in here now that we took that were already hurt, whether they had surgery or they came in hurt, and, you know, you try to rehab and get them right. But yeah, that's just a too broad of a question. I think it's just different everywhere.
Thanks, Coach.
Jacob?
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask about Peyton Stovall. Obviously, a guy that you have a ton of confidence in, but we're 7 games in, and there hasn't really been a sign of any rust. Just how pleasantly surprised have you been with the way that he's jumped back in, hitting the field, everything so far?
Well, I didn't know how it was going to go, obviously, a month ago, but the last week, I guess maybe it was the week before that, on like a Thursday, we had some guys that hadn't thrown, maybe even some redshirt guys that throw live, you know, on a mound to the hitters. And we were coming up to the weekend series, and we were thinking, you know, we're going to play Peyton maybe the next Tuesday against ORU, but he had 4 at-bats and he hit 3 missiles. I mean, and by our, you know, track man that was seeing how far they hit it and how fast it exited the barrel and all that other stuff. I mean, he had like 2 doubles and a homer, and we're like, wow, he's ready now. And, you know, our trainers, doctors were there. One of the trainers was there, and, you know, they told me, they said, you know, if he feels okay Friday, you know, maybe you can DH him. Cause I asked, well, I'd really like to get him some at bats. Talked to Peyton about it, and that's how that went. So after I saw him do that, it doesn't surprise me at all where he's at on the offensive end. You know, I was more worried about the running. The fielding, he can really field, and you know, he's been able to take ground balls, stay in shape there. I was a little concerned about his arm because you know, he had shoulder surgery. I mentioned that the other day. A lot of people forget about that. This guy has some things in there now that weren't in there a year ago that are holding that together, and it's healed, and it's going to be better than ever when it's done, but it's not 100%. He has to really take care of it. We limit his throws and what he does. But the bat's been amazing. I've been concerned about, you know, his running, and the other day we had a pitcher that was throwing slow to the plate, and I stole him. He got there, and I told him, I said, I just want to see what you could do. And he said, keep doing it. And then he had to score from first on a double. He did it. You know, I'm watching him run, seeing he's going to start limping. And I think he's good now, but it's been amazing. It would have surprised me, but that one day about a week and a half ago when he did what he did, we were like, wow, this guy's ready to hit pitching, because the stuff we were throwing at him was 92, 93 left and right handed pitching, and he handled it real easy.
And then I remember you talking a couple of weeks ago about how he was always around the team in really good spirits while he was recovering from that. Just how impressed were you with his leadership throughout that process, and then obviously coming back the way he has?
Yeah, we talked to him last year about it, you know, after he had the surgery, because he was so bummed out and, you know, down about it. And we'd had so many injuries, and, you know, we were still winning, and we just told him, hey man, you got to keep your head up because everybody's looking at you, and it's just the way it is. And I told him, I said, you know, a lot of guys, they couldn't handle this, but you're tough enough to handle it, and you're going to be fine. And, you know, let's get healthy for your junior year, and let's have a great 24. And, you know, a couple other people talked with him, because the first few days after he found out he was going to have his surgery on his shoulder, he was really down. And, but then about a week later, he flipped it. And then in the fall, I think the guys saw him working out, how hard he was working out. I mean, his lower half is so much stronger. And that's really, I mean, that ball he hit down the right field line the other day, past the first base, that ball was hit over 110 miles an hour, and it wasn't elevated. And there's no way he could have done that last year. It's just, he's stronger, he's quicker, swings beautiful right now. And, timing's still not 100%, but when it's linked up, he's as good as anybody in the country. So, but the players, they watched him and they respected him. And, they voted this guy one of our captains, and he didn't taking it bad all fall. And we have a lot of new players, so that was pretty impressive.
Thanks, Coach.
Bob.
Yeah, Dave, you got me wondering. You said he hit 2 doubles and a home run in those 4 at bats. What did he do in the other at bat?
He hit it somewhere. He didn't strike out. I remember that. And again, we were inside, and it's not as easy to hit inside as it is out. And I mean, the lighting's good, but it's still different. And that's what was so impressive. He hit 2 balls to left field, opposite field, that were crushed, and he also pulled one in the gap or something. And I don't know, he flew out, hit the ball pretty good, but it was nice. And it was against lefties and righties. Probably had 2 of each. So yeah.
Obviously rosters change year to year, but you guys have pretty good record against Auburn. I think it's right, 18-5 since 2016. And, they've had a couple World Series teams, at least one in there. I know you guys beat them in Omaha, and you won 3 of the last 4 series at Auburn, including the last time you were there 2 years ago. Just kind of, what do you think about the way you guys have done in that series, and especially winning at Auburn? You got some guys on the team now that won that series there a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't keep up with all those stats. I couldn't tell you any of that stuff. I do know that, we won the series there a couple years ago. They're always hard fought, and it just seems like there's a little bit of drama because there's some runs being scored. Now, I don't know which way the wind's going to blow or if it's going to blow, but we've had some nice days over there when the ball was carrying, and a lot of things going on. Like I said, it's you never know in this league how it's going to go, but we've done well in league play for a while now, and that's a credit to the coaches doing a great job with our players, and our players playing hard every day. And there's so much turnover with professional baseball, graduation, other things, that you just have to kind of train your players from day one. The guys that come back, they're talking, and you got to be ready when you go on the road. You got to be ready, because it's a different situation than at home a lot. But it's all mental. It's how you see it, perceive it, and you just have to go into it with maybe a little bit different attitude. It's got to be a little more intense. At home, you're more comfortable. On the road, you got to find a little edge.
Okay, thanks.
Coach, anything else you want to add? Coach, appreciate the time.
Okay, see you guys.